Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of Rants. You ever read an article or hear someone say something and you just say, really? So that happened this morning. So my day normally starts between 5:30 and 6 o'clock every morning for two reasons. One, that's when my significant other wakes up and gets ready for work. And then two, it allows me to do a little bit of reading before my day gets started. So I tend to get up pretty early. So this morning I came across this article that Sam wrote. Sam is a blogger on financial blogger on Financial Samurai. If you haven't checked out his website, it'll be in the description below. And he told this story about this couple that I believe lives in New York and earn in excess of $1 million per year. So think about that. Not $1 million over their lifetime, $1 million a year. I'd say that's a lot of money. I mean, to most people, that's a lot of money. To me, $1 million a year, that's doing something, right? And out of that $1 million, at the end of the year, they have like 54 grand left to show for it. So between like their housing, between taxes, housing, private school tuitions, luxury shopping, what else did he say? Dining out, all these things, like you just consume all this money and all you're left with is about $54,000. Yeah, I think when I read the article, the only investing they do is they max out their 401k, but there's only one because only she's working currently because the husband stays home with the kids. And they put some money in their HSA. So like less than $30,000 or so every year is what they invest out of that $1 million salary. So if you break it down, out of $1 million, you're going to pay about $400,000 thereabouts in taxes. So that still leaves you almost $600,000 that is just being evaporated. So what's the lesson for this? The lesson is it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. So say that whenever you look at your salary and say, oh, I'm only making 50 grand a year, I'm only making 30 grand a year, and all these dang rich people, just realize that there's people that make a lot of money and they don't really have a lot to show for it at the end of the year. Because $54,000 is not a small sum, but in comparison to $1 million, that's you're not really taking advantage of what's really an amazing blessing of being able to earn that much income. And the ironic thing is, she's a portfolio manager. So the way she earns money is she manages money for a living. She's like not necessarily a stock investor, but she manages a stock portfolio for a living. So it's a person that has a lot of insight into the financial markets and how she could grow that money if they chose to do it. So it's really really interesting. So again, it just really highlights the importance of creating margin in your life and of creating financial margin. Like how much you earn. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter. It does matter. Like you should try and earn as much money as you possibly can, right? But the magic is the difference between what you earn, right? If what you earn is here, and what you spend. You want that gap to be as wide as possible. That's what allows you to really, to invest, to have, savings, margins, just to be able to have a more stress-free life. I mean, in the article, I think they mentioned that after 15 years, they're going to have about $1 million or so in investments, like between their 401k and cash, assuming they save all $54,000. And then they'll reduce their mortgage by about $500,000. So you'll say, hey, that sounds pretty good. $500,000, $1 million in semi-liquid assets, and then your mortgage reduced by $500,000, $1.5 million. That sounds pretty good to me. But they'll have earned $15 million over that period of time. So it sounds good. Again, having $1 million in liquid assets. And having your mortgage reduced by $500,000 sounds good until you realize that over that same period, $15 million at least will have passed through your hands. So again, it goes back to a video that I did recently on the fact that 10% really is enough. I mean, if you figure $15 million and having about $1 million, they're actually less than 10% of what they're saving. It really shows that 1 million or 10%, saving 10% of your income really isn't enough to get it done, right? Really isn't. And in this couple's case, that's because the thing you need to realize too, right, is if you have $1 million income and you also have $1 million lifestyle, and if at the end of the 15 years all you have is $1 million, you're in a whole lot of trouble because you've got to reduce your lifestyle. There's $1 million, $1 million portfolio does not support almost $1 million worth of consumption every year. It just doesn't. You just can't. You need you need, let me see, 10 million, we'll throw about 300,000. You need about 15 to 20 million dollars to support that kind of spending. To be able to blow, what they're spending every year. They would need to have an investment portfolio of around 15 to 20 million dollars, and they're not going to be anywhere near that. So I just want to get this video out for you guys as just something to think about. It's not what you earn, it is what you keep. Like, what you keep really matters. That saying is not just cliche. It really does. It really is true. And this post that I recently read really drives that point home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the description to this article, and I'm also going to put a link in the description to a blog post I wrote on creating financial margins. So some tips and tricks that you can use to, regardless of how much money you earn, to increase that gap between what you earn and what you spend. So it leaves margin for you to be able to do some smart things with your money. So again, thanks so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. The subscribe button is right down there. If you haven't hit it, hit that. Press it. It's right there. It takes like 2 seconds. Just click right there. Do that. Share this with friends, and also check out my blog posts. I've got lots of other interesting articles there on life hacks, on investing. And if you found my video content interesting, you probably also like my blog as well. I always look for feedback from you guys. It lets me know like what people are interested in hearing about, so I know what topics to write on. And it's good for you and it's good for me. So again, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.